Hello, this is yet another video as I try to teach my mom and dad the basics of the internet. My name is Anu Vyas, and these are being recorded as part of a course I'm taking for graduate school T550, Design for Learning by Creating. And today what we're going to talk about, the lesson that we're going to talk about in this video is the cloud. What is this cloud that you probably heard of, right? Especially nowadays you hear it all the time. Oh, such and such was in the cloud, or downloaded that from the cloud, and you hear the cloud all the time. But it's like, what exactly is the cloud, right? And how does that relate to computers? Well, we're going to talk about that today, and by the end of this very short video, you're going to have a pretty good understanding conceptually of what the cloud is. So I want to give you, before I kind of give you a definition, I just want to give you an example first. So let's say that I'm currently in Massachusetts. So why don't we start there? So I'm in Massachusetts with my laptop computer at my home, and pretend that my laptop computer isn't connected to the internet at all. That I'm just typing away on my laptop, and let's say I write a Word document, right? Like I just say, today is November 2020, right? It's a day in November 2020. And I start typing on my Word document, and then I save it, but I save it to my computer, right? Well, what happens, let's say if I travel, I can't travel because it's COVID, so not gonna be traveling for a little bit, but let's say that hopefully at some point there's a vaccine and that a bunch of people have taken it and that everyone's pretty safe. And let's say that I decide, I'm originally from Ohio, so let's say I travel back to Ohio. But I forget my laptop in Massachusetts, and I want to try to get that file that I worked on, that I started working on, that Word file that I was just telling you about. Well, can I still access it? No, there's no way, right? It was on my laptop computer in Massachusetts, but I left my laptop computer in Massachusetts, and because I left my laptop computer in Massachusetts, I'm out of luck. Woe is me. I made a mistake. I'm out of luck, and now I'm in Ohio, and I can't access that file that, let's say, I really needed for some reason. Okay, so that's situation one, and you can kind of see the problems there, right? Like I actually have to have my computer with me, and I have to travel with my computer, so I got to take it with me wherever I go in order to access the file that I'm working on. So that's situation number one. I want to contrast that with situation number two. And situation number two is where I work on a file, right? I work on, let's say I open up a new Word document and I start writing on it, but then I decide that I am going to save it, not just on my computer, right? But I'm going to save it on some service by some other third party, such as Google or Microsoft. There's another company called Dropbox, which you may have heard of, but they have computers, and let's say that I decide, okay, I'm working on my laptop computer in Massachusetts, and let's just use Google. Google, let's say they have their computer in California, and I say, okay, well, I'm working on my laptop in Massachusetts, but also I'm going to simultaneously save everything as I'm working on it on the computers that Google owns in California. So long as I have an internet connection, I can access Google's computer, right? And so the same works. Now let's change the facts a little bit. Remember how I traveled to Ohio? Well, and let's say same thing, I forgot my laptop. Oh, where did my laptop go? I forgot it. I didn't bring it on the plane. I didn't bring it in the car. I was just making like the 12-hour drive. So now I'm in Ohio. I'm stuck. What do I do? Well, let's say I go to the local library and then I decide to log on. Well, I can get on a service like Google or Microsoft or Dropbox, and I can say, okay, well, I want to, I stored my Word file on one of your computers so that no matter where I'm located physically, I can just ask whatever computer I'm on to say to the computer that it's stored on, that file is stored on, hey, I want to download that file. Can you give me that file and I can work on it? And that's really what the cloud is, right? That's that sense that you can work on something no matter where you are physically or what device you happen to have. That conceptually is the cloud. And so it's called the cloud because you can kind of think of it like, oh, it's up here, it's high up in the air. And so it doesn't really, it's not like tethered to a particular location, right? Like I can be in Ohio, I can be in Massachusetts, I can be in California, I could be in India where some of my family is from, right? I could be in India and I could still access my file even if I didn't bring my laptop to India, right? Because it's stored in this like mythical cloud, like up high in the sky. But as we know, it's not actually stored high in the sky because the internet is just computers communicating to other computers. So originally, I saved that file, let's just say on a computer owned by Google, right? Which let's just say that computer happens to be in California. So I could be in, as long as I have an internet connection, I could be in India, I could be in Ohio, I could be in Massachusetts, I could be in California. And then my computer would just simply, place an order or try to contact Google's computer and say, hey, that particular, computer, I need that particular file. Can you give me that file? I want to work on it. And then all the changes that I make are also going to be saved, on the computer in California. So, if you have specific questions or, maybe that doesn't make sense at like the level of specificity, but hopefully at a high level, you understand this idea of the cloud. And that's really what I'm going for, right? Is the high level understanding of what the cloud is, because the more you'll work at it, the better you'll get and the more intuitive your understanding will be. But really, it's just that. It's just like, look, I can access my videos, I can access my pictures, I can access my Word documents, I can access my files, whatever my files are, no matter where I am, and really whatever device that I'm working on. So, and again, there's a couple of services, there's a couple of companies that really do this. So I talked about Google. They have a product called Google Drive, which is like their version of storing things in the cloud. You might have heard of Apple and Apple's product, which is iCloud, which is you can store anything in their service on their computers. You might have heard of Dropbox, which is both the name of the company and the product that they offer. And then finally, Microsoft, which I'm sure you've heard of, but the specific product that they offer that is this cloud thing I'm talking about, maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't, but that's called OneDrive, okay? So various companies offer this ability, to save your files on their computers so that you can access those files no matter where you are, from whatever device you're on, because your computer can just make a request to their computer and say, hey, I need that file, right? And so that's what the cloud is. So hope that helped. If you have any questions, you can comment below. I think you can email me. I'll put my email on the website where I'll put some of these videos. But again, this is really just to give you an overview of the internet, really basic level, and hope that helps clear up what the cloud is. So thanks for watching. Until next time.